Welcome to the Aligned Feminine.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another week hanging out with your two favorite spiritual besties.
It's your girls, Taylor,
And Sammy.
and we are here to help you have a deeper relationship with yourself, your health, and your spirituality to transform and expand your life.
Woo, woo.
Sorry, we have the giggles. I just love making Sammy laugh, and when I can do it at the most inconvenient times, I will definitely do that. Like we had a whole, I don't even know, hour, 2 hour conversation, and the
Literally.
very last minute, we're like, okay, we're about to record. I don't even know what the fuck I said. Oh, I
Dude,
was warming up my pipes, my throat.
you should give them an example, Taylor.
I said, me, 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 me. They just, the days where you just need a little extra warming, that's today.
And
So
she
I think good.
casually does it while you're drinking water. So
Yeah.
it makes you look like a hooligan.
See, I just know it's all the right times. You gotta wait for the right timing.
I told her, I was like, I feel like you do this on purpose, but it's amazing because, like, how often do you laugh this hard with somebody you love so much? Like, it's a blessing.
I love that. I love that I could do that. I'm just my silly self.
Oh my gosh. Well, I feel like this is honestly such an amazing way to go ahead and hop into the podcast today because, guys, we have the best topic for you. We're so excited to talk to you guys about it. So, hopefully, we've laughed it out, we've chilled it out. And now we're going to get a little serious. We want to talk to you guys about 7 tips to getting your dream bikini body this summer. I know you guys probably heard it if you've listened to previous episodes, but right now, Lotus Lifts is doing a bikini body blueprint challenge. This has been so much fun. Oh my goodness. Taylor has been amazing posting in the forum, showing her hot girl walks, going to Pilates, doing her workouts, and so have all the other amazing babes. And I feel like when it comes to things like losing weight and hitting your goals, it's really just about having action steps and knowing what to do and then following and executing that every single day. So Taylor and I were thinking, how fun would it be if we take all of the number 1 lessons that we're learning from the Bikini Body Blueprint and we share them with you, Queen? So,
I think it's a great idea and it would help people so much to even just jumpstart that. Like if you're looking into like, summer is right around the corner. Like we just hit spring and now we have like that whole season if we want. But we have one more season to just kind of get that like bikini body that we want. Because we all know once summer hits and we're on the beach and we're in a little bikini, not all the time, but like sometimes you can get thoughts of like, damn. I wish I worked out a little bit harder. Or like, damn, I wish I, toned my abs a little more, or like got a bigger booty or whatever. And like everyone has these thoughts every now and then. So for me personally, my goal was always a bigger booty. And last summer I was like, I swear to myself, when it comes to next summer, I'm gonna be fully prepared and snatched. And let me tell you, that's what I'm doing. So
you have been. I'm so fucking proud of you, girl. Like, you've been in there like swimwear, just working on yourself. And at the end of the day, it's like, how can we be 1% better, you know? And I definitely understand what you're saying of like, you have those thoughts coming up where maybe comparison is happening, or you're feeling like you don't want to be as active. Or for me, I know when I was like, what am I leaving behind? Like, with this new moon, it was like that extra snack, you know? It's always like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't treat myself that much, you know? So it's really about finding these boundaries, and that's why I feel like these tips are going to be so helpful.
totally. And it's not even just like the physical, like we're going to be touching on everything, mind, body, soul, and like habits that you could just jump right into. So, Sammy, let's get us started, girl. What is number one?
What? Okay, so number 1, we are going to be talking about fueling your body, okay? Everything when it comes to having a bikini body, it all starts with what you're putting in it. Okay, so this includes hydrating yourself, making sure that you are getting enough water. I like to personally start my new clients with getting 64 ounces of water That's about half of a gallon. Now, when it comes to like an everyday basis, men definitely drink more water than women do, but we need it just as much, especially during the summertime when it's super hot. You're outside in the sun, you're enjoying being on the beach. Like, you need to make sure that you're hydrating yourself. So, water, And Taylor, if you probably can't see her because I'm the one talking, but she just had a big sip of water. Do that throughout your day, okay? Make this like something that you're excited to do. I like to start my day with filling up my water bottle, my little fake Stanley over here. $13 from fucking TJ Maxx. You cannot like get any better than this. And it doesn't like nothing comes out. So it's really good if you drop it like I do. Um, but I will just fill this thing up first thing in the morning and I'll set an intention with my water. So, like Taylor said, we're really going with the spiritual side of things too, the energetic side of things. So, with my water, I will put my hands over it right after I filled it up and I'll set an intention. So for today, I was like, like please help me to give all of the best tips to the women and the men listening on the podcast so that they can really just feel so confident this summer. And I asked for energy, like please give me energy as you're going into my system, as I'm drinking the water. I set the intention that it's going to energize me so I can do all of the things that I want to do. Now, with this being said, fuel food is just as important, okay? And when you guys are thinking about getting a snatched big booty body like Taylor wants, protein is going to be your best friend. We need to be eating about 1 to 2 grams of protein for every single pound that you want to keep. So just for like shits and giggles number, maybe you guys want to be 140 pounds. You want to set a goal to be eating 140 grams of protein every single day, okay? And seeing, okay, can I keep my caloric intake at the same spot? When it comes to like beginning, just learning to track your food, it's going to be a work in progress. And if you want to learn more about this, by all means, please go ahead and reach out to me about the Lotus Lifts program. I'd be happy to help you. But where you want to start is just getting 3 meals in a day, making sure your calories are just at the same kind of like range every single day and you're eating enough food for yourself and getting protein in. I always say like protein is the number one key. So just focus on getting that number of protein you want in and start small. Like if you need to start at 100 and then build up and build up and build up to that 140 goal, do that, but you have to start somewhere. And oftentimes, when it comes to having our bikini, beautiful, shredded body where we feel confident, we've been told a lot in the past that you need to take away food, that less is more. No, you actually need to add food. A lot of times when clients come to me, they're not eating enough, or they're just eating a ton of not the wrong foods, but I'll give you an example. It's more so like, well, I'm just like having a coffee in the morning and I'm skipping breakfast. And then I have like a yogurt for lunch. And then I come home and I have like chicken and rice and I finish the day with ice cream. Like it's like you're not choosing the right things in that way. It's like, what is a yogurt for lunch? That's nothing. It's more so kind of like you're snacking rather than whole meals. So focus on quality over quantity in that way. Like people, a lot of times I see that they'll eat like really small meals throughout the day. Like, why? You're wasting so much time. Just like meal prep yourself some like 3 meals per day and make it easy.
Girl, I feel like you were speaking to my soul specifically. I was dying. I was like, yo, I feel like I did that yesterday. It's so crazy. Like when you're a coffee girly, and like I know we're gonna have some listening, the coffee girlies. Um, for whatever reason, like, well, actually, there is a reason. Coffee like suppresses your appetite, right? Like caffeine. So when you're drinking it, you're kind of like, I'm not hungry anyway, or whatever. And if you have it on an empty stomach, it really does kind of trick your body into thinking that you're full and you don't need breakfast and you don't need to eat right now and whatever. So my best tip in that way is to drink water on an empty stomach. Like the first thing, if anything, I know there's like a ton of other like beneficial, like green tea, like hot tea or whatever on an empty stomach, but water with like a Celtic salt is usually like so good for you on an empty stomach. Maybe like a little bit of lemon in it just to like clear out the digestion and like get things flowing in like a good way. And then eat and then get coffee. Like if anything, and you could take a tip from, you know, a coffee. I'm pretty much like a coffee fiend at this point. I don't know what happened. You know, when you get really busy at work and you're just like, fuck it, let me just drink coffee. Always eat maybe first. Like eat first, eat with it, but make sure you are definitely getting food in for breakfast. I know that is my number one downfall. And like Sammy said, the meal prepping is so helpful in that way. And if you're in a rush and, you're busy and the mornings go crazy, whatever, like meal prep breakfast above all else. Like I get how the other things, like lunch and dinner are super, super helpful and important. But personally for me, breakfast is like if I don't meal prep breakfast, wow, say that 10 times fast. If I don't meal prep breakfast, I am starting off the day already down here, like already kind of lost because I don't usually have time in the mornings to just like cook up a whole meal and like a lot of people don't. So, listen to your coach Sammy. Okay, she knows what she's talking about. And this episode is going to be Coach Sammy heavy because she's got all the tips and this is seriously what she preaches on a daily basis, even to me, like just listening
Well,
to her, I'll be like, Sammy. Um,
well, just know Taylor is more than qualified too. You've been working with me for over a year. That coffee tip, so on point. I'm gonna make content fucking about that because people don't think of that. And I love the Celtic salt. So just know for this conversation, Taylor, Lotus Babe, is just as qualified. You know your shit.
Girl,
You're
I've
welcome.
been, yeah, it's only because I've been working with you for so long. So, and trial and error.
Of course.
Um, which brings us to our second point, Miss Sammy, our mindful exercises. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So I picked mindful exercise instead of one specific category of fitness because I feel it is so important for you to do what you enjoy to do and make a schedule within moving your body that's going to make you feel the best. Now, I will always forever recommend strength training in your workout for at least 2 to 3 times per week because at the end of the day, doing movements like squatting, and deadlifting and bench pressing. These are functional movements, a part of our everyday life. So it's really important to make sure that our bodies are used to doing that so that when we're put in positions where we're moving or we have to pick up the couch or you have to refill your dog food, which is 60 fucking pounds, you're not throwing out your back or killing your neck because you have incorrect form. So strength training, as much as we love, for me, as I'm like, oh, I want a progressive overload, I want to increase my weight, I always bring it back to that number one intention of I want to do everything within my life with proper form so that I don't hurt myself. It's just a precautionary measure. But at that same time, strength training helps you build your muscle. And there are so many studies about how building muscle just helps you to have more energy. You have less fat on your body, so you look more toned. You're stronger with what you're able to do. So if you're a mom, you're actually able to carry your kid for longer amounts of time. It also shows that when you have more muscle in your body, you're known to live longer, have less disease. So it's just really important for keeping your body healthy. But this does not mean that you just rule out any of the other forms of exercise that you enjoy, right? So if you like to do some yoga, like I do, I volunteer at a yoga studio. So I'll do yoga classes anywhere from like 1 to 3 times per week, depending on my work week and when I could fit it in. I love hot girl walks that you guys know. This is another amazing form of exercise where you just walk, you get outside, you're grounding. Taylor was just telling us about formers Pilates, which she can kind of give you guys a little brief on because I'm not too qualified in that area. So she can give an example there. I know my friend, she loves dancing. So she does strength training in the morning and then she goes to dance classes a couple times a week. Or some of my clients, I have one client who's training for a half marathon and another client who's training for cycling. So again, they're starting with the strength training, but they're really feeding into their passion of like my client, when she runs, she feels like all of the stress just leaves her body. She loves seeing the outside views of when she's just going for her runs. And that's why she wants to do a half marathon. Or Abby, she just loves cycling. Like she even wants to become an instructor and she's taking a class for it. So incorporate your life likes and your interest into it. For me, I love pickleball and it's so much fun. I played it a couple times and I definitely want to continue adding that into my routine so that it's something that I just get to do, right? The other example I want to give you guys too is I have a friend and she's been doing jump roping, trying to get into the gym. And I told her, I was like, I was working out with this girl and she was doing like a set or like an entire, just let's say an entire exercise. Like she did 4 sets of squats. Then in between that, she would do jump rope. So I told this girl, I was like, if you want to, like lose some weight, you want to feel more confident in your skin, I was like, do the jump roping because you really enjoy it and that's getting you in the door. But then in between, when you're taking rest periods, do some body weight squats, like do some ch chest presses. And I was like, and if you need any help, I'll just write you out a couple workouts and just start with that. So yeah, those are all my examples. But I feel like there's so many things you could just go on and on about. Like there's so many forms of mindful exercise outside the typical stereotypes of fitness.
Oh my God, so true. And it really is all about just finding like what connects with you and what you could do like so effortlessly and what you like enjoy to do. So when you were saying that, I kind of thought of I got really into roller skating last summer. Oh
Mhm.
my God. You remember that?
Dude, they're the most adorable skates ever.
They're like all hot pink, like plaid, whatever. I don't know what even possessed me to get them, but I was like, fuck it, I've always wanted to learn how to roller skate and like be good at it. So that was like my mindful exercise of choice like all last summer and the summer before, I'm pretty sure. And I would just go skating around. I would bring them to tennis courts. And when there was an empty tennis court, because it was like the smoothest surface to do it on, I would just be skating all up on it. And it was so much fun. And it was such a workout. Another one I thought of, which I love to do also is paddle boarding. And I do it basically I like as much as I can. And last summer I had pretty sure she'll be working like a lot, but it was my old coworker, and whenever we would have the same day off, we would go and grab her paddle boards because she used to be an instructor, and she would just like teach me everything she knew, and then me, her, and her husband, and like another one of our coworkers would go out and paddleboard for like 2+ hours. Like it ended up being like such a long thing, but let me tell you, like our arms, our abs, your core, like you really engage everything. And it's something that you don't even think about that you're doing. Like it's an exercise sometimes you don't even realize you're exercising. And it was so much fun. So things like that where it's like you could just mindfully do it. It's nothing you really have to be like, okay, I'm locked in to work out my muscles. It's like, no, I'm locked in to just like enjoy whatever this is. And like Sammy said, the reformer Pilates class I took, oh my God, it was so much fun. And I was so focused on getting the movement right and getting the posture right and my stance and everything that I wasn't really concentrated on like what I was actually doing too much. So by the end of the class, I was like, oh my God, I'm sore as fuck. Like already. And then the next day I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I'm sore as fuck. And you just don't realize like you are putting in work, but also like having fun. And like it doesn't, there's so many different forms of that. So I love this one. I totally stand by this one. Mindful exercise.
Did you hear? I'm officially hosting a free for a limited time only masterclass May 1st, 6 p.m. And it is called The Dance of Feminine and Masculine Energy in Movement. I am so excited to teach you guys about the difference between masculine and feminine energy when it comes to your everyday health and fitness goals. One of the number one things that I see stop women from reaching their goals, losing the fat, building the muscle, getting the dream body that they want is they're either way too much in their feminine or they're way too much in their masculine, and there is no in between. But as we always say in the Lotus Lifts world, we can have it all, and it's this and that. So if you have been looking, you've been wanting to have an equality of energy within you, within your feminine and your masculine energy. If you want to understand what the differences within movement is and what movement can be really, really practical and beneficial for you along your health and fitness journey. And if you are looking to take your fitness journey to the next level, it doesn't matter what stage you're in, whether you're starting, you're intermediate, you're advanced, this is beneficial for everyone, men and women. So I invite you to join me May 1st at 6 p.m. EST so that we can make sure that we are balanced, whole, and complete within ourselves. Just DM me as Sammy Ruess underscore on Instagram. That's SAMIRUESS underscore on Instagram, and I will go ahead and get you guys signed up. I can't wait to see you there. Yes, well, I love all of that. Thank you so much for bringing up the paddleboarding because that is such a good example and also just gives you guys ideas of like fun things that you can do. Like I know people who go surfing or they take the like wave boards, or whatever they are where they just go in the ocean and then they swimming is like another great example of this, you know? So you can just go on and on and on and just see what feels called to you and go from there.
Period. I think that's like the whole trick of it all.
Mhm.
And which brings us to our third, number three, meditation, breath work. I think anything in that nature, in that category, is just so beneficial for you. And if you haven't done a deep dive into these things yet, this is your sign to do so.
100%. So this can be so powerful when it comes to having your dream bikini body because at the end of the day, meditation is all about calming your nervous system, right? Especially with breath work too. It's about coming back to just you and being in alignment with your higher self and slowing down. And oftentimes when we meditate, we're able to really work through things that maybe you've been avoiding. So it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm feeling so avoidant to the gym. Why am I feeling so avoidant to the gym? And you're able to work through that instead of allowing this cycle to keep continuing of like, oh, I'm just going to keep avoiding the gym, you know? No, you're going to sit down with yourself, see what comes up. And sometimes just even having that awareness of like, oh, I have an avoidance here, you're able to just choose a different path. I was listening to a podcast from Samantha Daly. And she was talking about how anytime something comes up that like she knows isn't for her highest self, so let's say it's overthinking, you can just say, you know, I forgive myself for overthinking. And I choose to believe I have full control. I choose to believe that it's really easy for me to go to the gym. I choose to believe that I get myself hype and I'm ready to go. So when I am meditating or when I'm doing breath work, a lot of times I have two different intentions. So one intention is to just slow down my brain and not really think about anything, just focus on my breathing, focus on what comes up, and just be still with myself. And then there's other forms where I'm visualizing and I'm watching myself embody and act as my higher self. So one thing I used to do, especially when I was on my own weight loss journey, is I used to visualize me getting in the car, dancing on the way to the gym, getting into the gym, stretching it out, looking really good in the mirror and being like, wow, like I really see progress today, you know? Giving myself those compliments because at the end of the day, like if you're not giving it to yourself, who is, right? So then I would see myself going through my routine. And at this time, I was only doing dumbbells and kettlebells, but I was visualizing myself pulling a full fucking barbell rack, like having the barbell, doing deadlifts, doing squats, doing bench presses. Like I wasn't in the physical doing it yet, but I used to visualize and I used to think about the weight that I wanted to lift, how good I wanted my form to be, celebrating when I hit PRs. And this is a really powerful thing that you guys can embody in your everyday life. And this was one of my favorite parts of 75 Hard when I was doing, it was in both phase 1 and phase 3. So in the second and fourth phases out of the entire Live Hard program, but we had to visualize for 10 minutes. And you can really use this for anything. But I think one thing that it's really powerful to use this with is visualizing you already having the dream body that you want and already doing and embodying the habits that you know are going to get you there.
Period. Oh my God. And they do say that like pro athletes and like people that, whatever, they literally visualize before they go into a game and they visualize, making all these baskets and before they shoot, they visualize it going in the hoop. Like I feel like I did such a deep dive on this like maybe a couple months ago on how powerful visualization is and like how all of the higher up people and all celebrities and people like that kind of like use it to their advantage, but especially athletes. And that goes right into weightlifting, like you said. So I can only imagine how powerful that really is at the gym. That's such a great idea. I should really start that.
Yeah,
I
and I
love
know that
that.
there was a study that was done. And I forget what podcast I was listening to, so I wish I had the reference for it. But they had a team of people that were actually doing the physical weightlifting. And then they had a team of people that were just visualizing it and were visualizing themselves doing the same movements that Group A was doing physically. And Group A, of course, built more muscle mass. It was 28%. But Group B, that was just doing the visualization, 24% muscle fat. You know? So it was only a 4% difference over this extended period of time with the study. So this is something that I definitely want to incorporate more. And this is like a great time if you do it in the morning or in the evening when your subconscious is just really open and available to that. It's a really good way to start and end your day, which kind of goes into topic number 4.
That it does. Creating boundaries. Where your boundaries lie. Where they at?
Important. They're so important. So, when it comes to creating boundaries in this concept, we wanted to talk to you guys about having boundaries with your phone. Having boundaries with your phone, with when you're looking at messages, with when you're on social media, honoring your work hours. And the reason why is so that you can actually be present and enjoy your everyday life. This is something that I had to make a lot of changes with earlier this year. And I've been doing a really good job of it. But I noticed that I had a couple of habits and I want to know if you guys relate to them. So, one, I would wake up and I would look at my messages. Like, I wouldn't even look at the actual messages, but I would look at the number. And if I knew that the number was up, I'd be like, oh my God, I have messages. And I would feel like I had to respond. Or I would like wake up, I would do my morning routine, and I would immediately feel like I had to start working right away. And I realized it was like I'm on my phone and I'm on social media like multiple times throughout the day. And I was like, when I think about my higher version of myself, I'm like, she's very diligent with her time. And what that means is that she doesn't have all day to be scrolling and making posts at different times and just randomly being on social media. Like she has this appointment at this time, she has this at this time, she's on work doing this at this time, like she's checking in with clients at this time. So it's about actually creating structure for yourself and honoring it and then honoring your work hours. So, what I've been doing that's been really helping a lot is having a morning and a night routine. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more when it comes to sleep. But where is really helping me with my boundaries is I created a morning routine where I don't need my phone anymore. So, like, for example, I wake up and I use my laptop instead to get my guided meditation up. So, I get my guided meditation, I use it on my laptop, or I'm in a Kundalini program mentorship and we do it on Wednesdays. But I was like, I feel amazing when I start my day with this. So now I've been doing it Wednesday, Monday, and Friday. So 3 times per week. And that's 45 minutes where I'm not even on my phone. And one thing that I was doing today, because I had so many amazing ideas as I was doing it, I went old school. I had a pen, I had a piece of paper, and I was writing everything out. Right? So at the end of the day, kind of like I had said earlier, being aware is going to be the number one most important thing. But how are you ever going to expand and call all of the things on in your life if you're just like constantly looking at it? Like when I'm gone from Everfit, let's say I don't check in with my clients from like the afternoon, like maybe I check it at like 2 o'clock, and then the next morning I check it at 9 o'clock. It is insane how many more posts and more engagement and how the community really handles itself and supports itself and keeps going without me. Whereas in the past, I felt like I had to check it like every 2 hours, but then I would find that I didn't really have much to do. And I started thinking about that quote of like, well, if you're looking at the water, like it's never going to boil, but if you look away, like it boils a lot faster than you think. So I started thinking about that just in terms of energy and in terms of expansion. And like if you guys are entrepreneurs, you want to expand your money, you want to expand your followers, you want to expand your outreach, you want to expand your purpose and who you're helping. It's like you micromanaging it and having no boundaries for yourself is just not gonna get you to where you need to be. Right? So starting with the things that you can control, like your own work hours, creating a morning and night routine, being off of your phone because we do all of this like work, healthy living so that we can live a longer and healthier life, right? which means we need to be present and actually enjoy it. And if we're on our phones 24/7, how are you ever going to actually do that?
Girl, I feel like you were speaking to me again.
I was speaking to myself with that one too, Taylor. You know that.
No, totally. But like you said, when you first wake up and then the first thing you do is grab your phone and or you used to and look at the messages and just instantly jump into work mode. That has been me like the past, I don't even know, a couple months, I want to say. Like the first thing on my mind is like, okay, what do I have to do right now? What should I do first? What do I jump into? Like there's really no like buffer time or anything. It's like, okay, shit. And I think it definitely does go into entrepreneurship. And when you just have a lot going on and you're kind of building up, whatever project you're working on or whatever with work, if you're doing something like for yourself and you want it to be perfect and you have certain deadlines in your head, it could be so easy to just first thing on your mind when you wake up. But what Sammy said, like there's so many more benefits to like kind of balancing things out throughout your day. Like your whole day doesn't have to be consumed of work. And you know what they say about like if you're an employee, you work so many hours, but when you work your own job and you work for yourself, you work 24/7. Like that's what everyone says. Like, yeah, I wanted to work for myself, so now I work every minute of every day. But
Yeah.
like you can really compartmentalize these things. And that's what people don't really realize a lot of the time, or they'll realize it too late, or when they're starting to feel burnt out and when they're starting to just feel like, oh my God, work is just so much. So we're gonna stop it before it even gets to that point. And it's just about balancing out everything. And like Sammy said, being present in life. Like in your life, there's so many different aspects to your life. You can't just water one plant and like leave all the other ones to die, like wither away. So it's like you have to kind of be mindful of all of that. And that's where the boundaries come in, and that's where they're the most important. So, like, think about that for yourself. Like, what are you watering the most? And are you depleting any other plants of the same nutrients by watering that one so much? And it's not to say that's bad. Maybe you need to wake up a little earlier to squeeze everything in, or maybe you just need to move some things around or do certain things only on certain days. There's such a huge, and I say this all the time, there's such a huge trial and error when it comes to boundaries, when it comes to routines, when it comes to like what works best for you as an individual. So just figuring that out can really just catapult everything in such a good, healthy direction in your life. So,
I love that. And I love how you really brought in the mental side of boundaries too, because oftentimes I think when we think about boundaries, we'll think a lot about other people and how they respect our boundaries, but how are you respecting your own boundaries? Because I know for me, at least, especially being an entrepreneur, that's where I struggle the most. Like I don't struggle with like hitting all of my goals. Like I struggle with doing too much. Like I struggle with like being on my phone constantly or like being like I am going to take off Friday afternoons and then I'm working overtime, And that's why I really like bringing it back to being present and enjoying life because it's just bringing you back to that purpose of like, what are we doing this for? When I created my business, I really, really, really wanted to help people, but I also was doing it for myself in a way of like, I always wanted to work online. I always wanted to work for myself. I know I have a very like managerial, I like to be in controlled personality. So having my own boss, I like to be my own boss. And I also wanted to have the time freedom so that I could work out and I could prioritize myself. And I wanted to have the money and the location freedom of I can live wherever I want. I'm not stuck to one place. I can leave whenever I want. I can move. I can work wherever I want. And that's why I'm so, so, so grateful for my job. But like at the end of the day, when I chose to become an entrepreneur, it was because I actually wanted to enjoy my life. So like we said, if we're waking up all of the time, just like always thinking about work, or for me, like a lot of what I do on an everyday basis of like filling up my water, meal prepping, exercising, like I can get really caught up because I feel like I have to film it all or I feel like I have to talk about it all. So it's like all of the things that I even do for myself sometimes feel like work. because they're all just like so intertwined. So I noticed for me of having the boundaries of just the phone alone has made a huge difference of like, okay, it's 8:30 at night. Like I get into bed for like 9:30 and I read, I do Kundalini, I meditate, like journal, whatever it is that I feel called. But having that like hour of just like not looking at a screen and in the morning and throughout the day, like little breaks of these boundaries, it just gives me so much energy and inspiration back.
I absolutely love that.
Mm.
And that's so true. It's like that lifestyle is specifically tailored to you. So it's like certain little things you got to try and just see what works, what feels good, what doesn't, where there's resistance. So I'm proud of you, girl. I know that it's a lot and I see you grinding out here and you're always killing it. And if you guys aren't following Sammy on social media, what are you doing? Like at Sammy Roos underscore, just to get like a little taste of what she's talking about, because let me tell you,
I
but
love
it's inspiring, so so it works for me.
I love you.
So we can roll right into our next one of try new things, go to new places, meet new people. Like there's so much life to be lifing out there, you know?
100%. And I feel like when you're going to new places or you're trying new things, oftentimes you want to see a lot of things, which means that you're moving a lot. And my friend, he always is like, walking isn't exercise. He has this whole joke because he doesn't want to exercise. And I'm like, it is exercise. So if you guys are, for example, like going to the Jersey Shore and you want to visit Ebb and Flow and you're making it a weekend for yourself, it's like you're going to want to walk the boardwalk. You want to walk the beach, which is just naturally going to get you moving and grooving. And back to the mindful movement, it's like make it something fun. So I like to go to new parks. I like to go to new boardwalks. I like to go to new towns and literally just walk around. Like here we have a place called the Domain, which is like a little downtown. I love going there to walk, or I love going downtown to walk and just seeing all of the big buildings. So going to new places, trying new things, and traveling is a huge, huge, huge one because at the end of the day, we all want to have our perfect dream body so that we can look good doing it, right? So that we could wear the cute outfits, wear the cute bikinis. And I'm celebrating because I just signed up for a retreat with my coach and we're going to Greece and Italy. So I've just been feeling so inspired. I've been feeling so motivated. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm really tracking my food. I'm doing extra cardio. I'm feeling really good in the gym. And I'm just like, this is all for Greece. Like I'm so excited for it. I can't wait to look amazing. I can't wait to have photo shoots with my friends because they're coming. So I already know they'll take really good pictures of me. And I'm over here like, oh my gosh, like I want to get all these new bathing suits. I want to thrift a whole outfit for the whole week that I'm there, like get all new clothes, because I moved and I donated a lot of stuff. So it's all just coming together of like, ooh, I want new clothes. I need new clothes. I'm gonna get it for these trips. Ooh, I want to look really good. I'm motivated to do all my tasks because I'm thinking about this goal. So give yourself something to look forward to, so that you're again having this motivation, but you're also living your best life. Like I love traveling, and that's really where I just get to unwind, have fun, enjoy and live my best life. And we could be doing this all of the time, once a week, twice a week.
I could not agree more. And like, I love traveling too. If you're like a traveler, you just know the feelings you get when you're in a new place with like totally new energy to it. And there's something so fresh and like, I don't know, just like fun about it. It's like there's so much to this world. And to go to another place and just plop yourself in the middle of a brand new unknown environment and just be like, let's see what this has to offer me, you know? Each place has something different, like new insights, new ways of living, new languages, like anything you can pick up from people. And if you really want to learn about the world and just about like what this whole life thing is about, like travel. It's honestly the most valuable like life lessons that I've learned have always been through traveling. Especially if you go by yourself, I feel like there's something to just throwing yourself out there and being like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna meet people. I'm gonna see what this place is about. And I don't know, it's really, really good for you and it's just really good for your psyche too. Like, I don't know, shake your life up a little bit. If you're looking for something a little different, start with your environment, maybe. Just a vacation. Go like a state away or something for like a weekend. And it's so funny because other countries talk about America in like such a, or the United States in such a different light in that way. Like you can go to a different country and experience like a totally different atmosphere. But they say like America is really interesting because you could go to a different state and experience an entirely different atmosphere. Whereas like other countries are kind of blended into like the same type of traditions, the same type of language, and I don't know. But I don't remember what I was listening to, but they were like people that live in the United States don't realize how much they actually have to their fingertips. Like we're pretty close to our neighbor states. And to be honest, like Connecticut is pretty different from Jersey, is pretty different from New York, is pretty different from, Vermont up there. And like
Oh,
we're not too far away. And then we have South Carolina, Colorado, Texas, like other side, California. It's like we're all so different within our own little places. So like if you don't even want to start off big and going to another country, start off within your country, and just see and learn what people are about there and their habits and their routines. Like
mhm.
there's just so much learning, and I feel like that's just so good for you and good for your mind in itself. So try new things.
I love that. And I love how you just really like simplified it down too of like just go somewhere close to you. Like one of my clients, she lives in Connecticut and she'll drive to Mystic, Connecticut. And like it's the same state, but let me tell you, Mystic is beautiful. Oh my gosh, it has the best pizza, the best food. There's tons of little shops. It's like a little beach town. It's just absolutely adorable. And they make a day trip of it. I think it's like maybe like an hour away. And they just make a day trip. They go for a couple hours and come home. So it's not like you need to take off so much time. You need to travel anywhere so exquisite or like crazy far away like I am right now with Greece and Italy. But it's like how can you do it for you and what you're gonna enjoy? And also like ask yourself of like, well, what would I want to try? Because honestly, when I went plane jumping and I jumped out of the plane, that is not what it's called. What is it called? Plane jumping. That's not.
I'm dead. That took me a minute. I was like,
Um,
skydiving?
yeah. Jinx. Okay, so when I went skydiving, that was something that I had like thought about before and I wanted to do, but it wasn't until like one of my friends mentioned that she did it, and then I was like, oh my God, like I've always wanted to do that. It's always been in the back of my mind, you know? So like think about those things of like, what have you just thought about doing? Like for me, it's always been tennis. Like I used to have a tennis racket. I don't have one anymore. But me and my friend have been talking, we like playing pickleball, so we've been talking about playing tennis too and just getting like a racket and playing every once in a while. And that's just something that always has been in the back of my mind of like, I wonder what this would be like. Like, I wonder how it would be to play and like, how would I feel? What would it be like? I've never really like gone to a court to specifically play. So, like, if we went to like an actual, let's say a country club and we made it a vibe, right? And we rented out a court, like, ooh, what would that be and feel like?
I love that. And that's what life is about, right? Just trying new things. You never know what's gonna stick and what's gonna, I mean, even change your life. You never know. You could be like a pickleball queen and you could be in the big leagues one day and you could be famous for being a professional pickleballer.
Period.
You just never know. And you never know. And if it's something you end up loving to do, that's such an added bonus.
I
Like
agree.
finding new hobbies. Yeah. So in order to do all of this, what do we need to our core, the energy for all this? How do we get that?
Sleep.
My favorite thing to do. There's literally like um what is it? On Instagram, like social media, they have like the sleepy girl vibes and it will be like I don't know, the silliest memes or posts and I always crack up because I'm like, yo, that's so me. Like
It
your
is.
girl, she's not out at a club, she's not out cheating on you, like she is home sleeping. Sleepy girl things.
Like, why
So
weren't you answering? Why? Where were you? On the fucking couch? Like, where are
yeah,
you?
literally. In bed, dreaming, like dead ass. So not only is it a hobby, it's very important for your body. I know like everyone can relate to this when you've had like a shitty night's sleep and then you have to go to work the next morning and you're like, oh my God, how am I gonna survive? I don't know how I used to do it in college. I would literally sleep like 3 hours and then go to work and then go to class and then come back and go out drinking and do it all over again and be like, man, fuck a sleep schedule. I'm just running on Red Bull and I don't know, and vibes at this point. But later in life, you learn that it catches up to you and how important sleep actually is. So, Sammy, how many hours a night of sleep do you get usually? Ready to elevate your mind, body, and soul? Lotus Lifts, founded by Sammy Roos, blends holistic healing, fitness, and energy work to help you feel your absolute best. Whether it's one on one coaching, movement based healing in the Lotus Lifts Collective, or spiritual growth, Sammy's intuitive approach will guide you to balance and vitality for a happier and healthier life. I should know because I have been a Lotus babe for over a year now, and let me tell you, it has been like the best year of my life for my health. I have just been feeling amazing. So take it from me. All the details you need are going to be in her website. So check that out in the show notes to get started to transform your life with Lotus Lifts, where wellness meets awakening. Now back to the episode.
I personally am an 8 hour girly for sure. Like the more sleep, the better. I would say for my clients and how I like to coach, I always try to encourage at least 6.5 to 8 hours of sleep because sleep's so important. It's when your body finally gets to just rest, right? It's when your muscles get to recover after all of the amazing mindful movement that you've done. It's when your brain just gets to like kind of like be and you get to dream and just I really don't know too much of the science behind the brain part of it when it comes to sleep, but I know it's very important. Um, so I
Totally.
like to personally get at least 8 hours of sleep for myself, but everybody is different. I know some people that only require 6 hours of sleep. I know some people who, if they don't get 8 hours of sleep, like they are cranky the next day. And I think one thing that really, really helps me maintain a routine is one, going to sleep at similar times every single day. Obviously, on the weekends, if you're hanging out with your friends, it's gonna be a little different, but I do try to get the same amount of sleep every single night so that my body is having that consistent just time frame of recovery. And I like to try to go to sleep and wake up at similar times so that my body just knows to what to expect. We were talking about AM and PM routines. And I think for this topic in particular, nighttime routines are the most important because it's basically getting your body ready to wind down, right? So like when it's 8 o'clock and I'm 8:30, I'm not looking at my phone anymore. That's the first step to my brain's like, oh, it's wind down time. Like we don't have any screens to distract us anymore. And I do my face care. I do my face roller. I brush my teeth. I say some affirmations while I do this. My brain just knows. I feel my body, like pay attention to your body when you're doing it, but I feel my body start to just relax and start to just kind of like wind down. I love to read. That has been such a game changer for me in terms of reading before bed because I don't know about you guys, but reading like a self-help book, this is why I'm such a podcast girly or like need to listen to it because 2 pages in, I'll be falling asleep. Like, no joke, 2 pages in, trying to read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I got halfway through the book and I have not opened it up since. I'm so sorry, First Form. I love you guys. I love my team. They're freaking amazing. And it's like I just struggle because I try to read it at night and it's just like not working. So that's a whole other story as I almost just hit my microphone. So I'm sorry if that hurt you guys in any way. But the other thing that I noticed makes such a difference, and I know I talk about it all the time, but I actually have like a real world example from this weekend, is my magnesium. Okay. I take the first form magnesium and I've been a little lazy about taking it the past like week or two. Since I stopped 75 hard, I love 75 hard because it just keeps me on my toes, and I've been so consistent with everything. But my supplements, I've noticed I've been drinking my meditation drink and putting it in the fridge, forgetting about it, and then not finishing it until like a day or two later. And then with my magnesium, I just wasn't taking it. So I had slept wrong on my neck the first night I didn't take my magnesium, which I had a shit sleep, woke up with my neck in so much pain. I haven't strength trained in a couple of days because of it. And then the next night, I didn't take my magnesium again. So it was kind of a similar story. And then I knew I was like, okay, I just have to get back into my routine. So then on Monday, I like set all my goals. I've been like really on top of it, crushing it every night. And I've been taking my magnesium. And let me tell you guys, out like a light. And I sleep throughout the night. Like I noticed those other 2 nights that I wasn't taking it, I was up like every 2 hours. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I'm waking up and I'm going back to sleep, but like it's still annoying that you're waking up. And I think with sleep, if you can try to like extend how long you're actually asleep, it's really good for like your cycles of sleep of how your body is responding. It's going into all the different waves. So for me, I noticed the last 2 nights when I've been really consistent with my magnesium, I've actually slept longer throughout the night and I've woken up feeling so much more relaxed, which is crazy because I was telling my client Cece, she had won the mini challenge that we did last week in our Lotus Lifts community. So she won first four in magnesium. And I was like, girl, you're gonna love it. She was saying she wanted like something that's gonna help with muscle recovery. And I was like, well, that's exactly what it's for. Like the reason why it helps with sleep is because it relaxes your muscles, it helps them recover. So your body chills the fuck out. And then you actually want to go to sleep, right? Which is this whole vibe of a night routine. We want to get our body ready to wind down. But it's so crazy how I'm over here giving her all this advice about magnesium. And what am I doing? Not taking it.
And what am I not taking?
It's
Magnesium.
funny because then you go through the whole lesson and you're like, oh, I get it. I get it,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Girl. I do that all the time with just random shit. And I'll be like, damn, I gotta practice what I preach. Like, duh. No,
Yeah.
I fucking love that. And I could not agree more. Like, magnesium has had so many, I feel like, studies done
Yeah.
on how helpful it is. And I've read up so much about it as well. Another thing I read up on is like the sleep cycles, or like our REM sleep. And it's really interesting. Yeah, they have a website and it's like a sleep calculator. A complete REM sleep cycle is an hour and a half. So it's 90-minute intervals. And like it's most beneficial to get in, I want to say like five a night, or like roughly like five complete cycles. And if this gets interrupted like multiple times in the night, it can totally throw you off and you'll not really feel as rested or like have a restful night's sleep. So, what the sleep calculator does, which is amazing, is it will literally map out when to go to bed and what time if you want to wake up at a specific time. And so that you get all and as many sleep cycle, like completed sleep cycles in. So it'll be like 90-minute intervals and you'll land on a specific number. So I love it so much because they also give options for later times. So it'll be like if you go to bed at 8:15, you will have five complete cycles by the time that you're trying to wake up at. Or if you go to bed at 11:30 or 11:45, I don't know what the fuck, I'm not good at math. Um, then you'll have four complete cycles. So you'll still wake up feeling really rested because you'll have complete cycles and you're not waking up in the middle of one. Or, and then it will give you options like, or if you go to bed at 1:30 in the morning,
Oh my
you'll
God.
have like three complete, so it's like you feel more well rested, obviously, the more cycles you complete, but to not wake up in the middle of them, you feel so much like more, I don't know, like you're just alive and you're awake and you're well rested. So that actually has been such a game changer for me. And I've seen a lot on social media of people saying that that's been like the key for them also, like waking up. So if you have trouble, and if you feel like still tired after you wake up, like maybe try and incorporate that. Um, For me, sleep has always been such a tool for like little things throughout my life. So like I know that when you get restful sleep, your body heals, it regenerates cells, it goes through complete, like reconstruction inside our bodies. So whenever I'm feeling off or sick, or if I'm just like not feeling well, even my period, girlies, y'all know when the menstruation cycle comes, we can get really, really exhausted and tired because there's so much going on inside, behind the scenes, in our bodies that's actually working 24/7. And even more so, we're kind of on like an overload. Like our ovaries are shedding, the uterine lining, the whole spiel. But sometimes when we're healing from other things, our bodies are also doing that. And there's so much work behind the scenes, so we'll feel tired. And I am such an advocate of honoring what your body is feeling. So if you're feeling tired, to have a point to make extra sleeping time if you can. Obviously, like it's not always ideal, but like your body needs maybe a little bit more healing and a little more time to regenerate these things. So even the other day, I woke up so exhausted and I had like so many nightmares throughout the night. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. You know me and my nightmare spells, I randomly get them. I don't know what's going on, but I didn't get any fucking restful sleep last night. I was just in fight or flight mode throughout the entire night. And then I woke up like, like, what the fuck? How am I supposed to start my day? So, you know what I did? I went back to sleep. And I was like, I need to give my body a fighting chance today. So I slept for another like 2 hours and then I woke up and I felt a little better. And I gotta say, like, sometimes it makes all the difference to just give your body that extra time to just heal. I don't know. There's so much going on. So give yourself grace with your sleep also. We know that it's important. We know sometimes you might not have time for it, but try and prioritize it as best as you can.
Okay, so on to our last and final tip for you guys. This is going to be all about mindset and your energy, baby. So, after you have such an amazing night's sleep and you're waking up feeling so rested, so good, you get to have a positive perspective for the day. I remember when I was going through some of my hardest times, my brother had said to me, and he doesn't even remember saying this to me, which is hilarious, but he was like, Sammy, he was like, just wake up every single day and be like, what if today was the best day ever today? Like today is going to be such a good day. I am just deciding that today is going to be a good day. And that's why when it comes to the AM routine, I'd love to talk to you guys about a little bit what I do because I think it's just so powerful for you. So you already know that I do my affirmations, I do my meditations, I do my breath work, but one thing that I really prioritize first thing in the morning before I start work or before I start anything is getting my vibration as happy, as positive, as just like in a good mood, high vibes as possible. So, affirmations are amazing for this because you're basically giving your subconscious and giving your mind something to just think about. And I love to have affirmation sticky notes on my mirrors. I love to just think about, like, what if this happened today? What if this happened today? Just like thinking about positive things. I love to listen to podcasts, especially when I'm like doing my makeup. There's something about just like having someone riffing in the background, spilling all this just like amazing, mind-blowing ideas. And then I'm listening to it, I'm doing my makeup, I'm like, this is just freaking amazing. Or even music, like listening to some high vibrational music. There's so many playlists that now have just like affirmations type music, or you can listen to this is more so for like my like God and like Christian and that kind of energy type girlies and men, but prayer music, like that's been so amazing. I've added that into my life because one of my clients made me this entire playlist that is just all about like God and Jesus and prayers and like stuff like that. And the music and energy is just so beautiful. So obviously, if you guys are more into the universe or if you're more into source or higher power, higher self, like whatever resonates for you. You don't need to say God, you don't need to say Jesus. Like you can kind of like put whatever you feel most aligns for you, but just the energy of like the music, of the affirmations, of the high vibe, like it just puts me in such a good mood. And I feel like that's really, really, really important to start your day. Like you want to make sure that you're getting in the best, just high vibest, happiest, just pouring into yourself so that you can really set the tone for the day and for your week and for your year and for all these amazing goals that you want to hit, especially when it comes to your health and fitness and perfect body.
Period. I think it is so amazing to do that. And they say like to walk out into the world in like the highest vibration, like there's nothing better. And to go off of that, it's also really important then to protect your energy because once you're super high vibing and your frequency is up and your vibe is up and you're just feeling great and you cleared yourself, you don't want that to just kind of go to waste for the first person with negative energy to come up to you and just spew whatever at you and, the whole thing. We've definitely felt that before. So you want to protect yourself. And Sam and I have talked a bit before about how to do this, but I think me and Sammy have like more similar ideas of it. So I'll kind of do like a protective bubble and I'll even do the motion of my hands of like going over my body. Yeah. And it'll be like a bright white light. Sometimes it's like sparkly and gold though. It really just depends on like what you're feeling during the day or what my vibe is. But you'll just picture like this fully encapsulating your whole body and just knowing that like all of the good energy is circulating within that point. So anything that tries to come into contact and just kind of like tries to penetrate those walls in a negative way, like they can't. They can't touch your energy. Your energy is safe. It's fully around you and surrounding with you. Another thing I learned at this spiritual retreat that I was at like last year was to kind of, did you know this is kind of a fun fact also. Sumo wrestlers, you ever see them like when they're about to wrestle each other and they're kind of circling the mat and they're like doing all these like weird things with their hands. Also, what is it? Taekwondo does this. I think there's other like forms of this jujitsu like type things. Oh, it's jujitsu also with their hands. And what they're actually the origin of that, what they do is they kind of mess with your energy field and like your center of gravity so that you kind of feel like, I don't know, not as stable. You're kind of like your proprioception is a little off and it's all within your energy. And that's what they say also, like, you ever get a girl that kind of like looks at you and she like looks at you like up and down and she kind of like scales you out and she's
Mm.
doing that to kind of like mess with your energetic field. And that goes back to like witches and like, bad witches and like Wicca and things like that and what they do. And I'm not trying to bad talk anyone that practices any of these, but there are certain little energetic things that you can do to people that can kind of like throw off their whole field. We're not doing that. We don't condone that here,
I didn't
but
know about half of this shit. I'm learning with you.
girl, it's so interesting. And like even do it like I'm trying to do a deep dive on all this also after this. 'Cause I'm like I actually am realizing I don't know enough about this. But they taught us this at the spiritual retreat was how to protect yourselves from people that do this because there are people that will literally go around doing this to people in the world and you just don't know. So if you feel like either someone has done that or you just feel like a little wobbly in your energy and something is off, like whatever, they say to kind of do like I'll put it down a little bit. Like almost like a zipper motion, like you're kind of zipping up your energy and like gathering it all together to realign yourself. And this is like all in your core, all like your center. You kind of want to zip up 3 times. And then at the last one up here, you want to lock it so that no one can like fuck with it. I just spit all over my computer. But
I love
so
that.
3 times, and then you want to lock it up, and you kind of do. You feel more like secure within yourself. And my old shaman, he also kind of taught me that also, that like you can fuck with someone else. You can from a distance. You don't have to be right next to them. So you want to lock it up so no one can do that. And protect yourself. All these things are just kind of like um being proactive in your spiritual practice also. We want to be proactive, we want to be safe, before doing Reiki or any spiritual things on other people, you want to protect yourself first because we can't fill from an empty glass. And if we're struggling, it makes it harder to like even help other people. So stay positive.
Woo!
hmm
Well, I feel like this was such an amazing way to end the 7 tips to getting your dream body this summer. And we really, like we said, we wanted to dive into the fitness and the health and the nutrition side of it, but we also wanted to dive into the mindset side of it. We also wanted to dive into the spiritual side of it because at the end of the day, all of these things are so connected, right? So making sure that you are in full alignment with your body, with your mind, and with your soul is truly how you are going to accomplish your dream summer body this summer.
Period. And who doesn't want that? Don't you want to feel your best?
I know I do. So I'm excited. And if you guys need to listen back on this, take notes, send it to your bestie so that you guys can go and have photo shoots yourself. You could be posting on TikTok. You could be feeling confident, making scrapbooks out of all of your summer memories. Like, have fun and send this to somebody that you feel like would really benefit from it and find a lot of motivation and insight.
Oh yeah. So listen to this one over. It's still springtime, people. You got time. You could do it during the summer too. It doesn't really matter. But if you want a head start and you want to feel your absolute best, let's just start right now.
Mhm.
Fuck it. YOLO.
Enjoy
So,
the moment.
yeah, literally. And in the spirit of that, if you need any help, any coaching, girlies, hit up Sammy. Okay, Sammy, where can they find you, girl?
You guys can find me at Sammy Roos underscore on all social media. And if you guys want to check out the different options, go ahead and check out my website, which is right under my profile. And you can see what the difference is between the collective and the group coaching program and or the VIP where you get to work one-on-one with me. Everything is fully customized and you're really deep diving into coming into alignment with yourself in all ways.
Period. I can attest to that, let me tell you. So hop in there. And you guys can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Align Feminine Podcasts and and Spotify. Just type in the Aligned Feminine Spiritual Baddie Mindset because that's what we're all about. And then if you want to follow me at Melt Massage underscore NJ and follow the studio. We have a hot yoga, meditation, and massage studio here in Asbury Park, New Jersey. I don't know, maybe you want a vacation around here and you're like, damn, where do I get my yoga in? Where do I get my massages? It's gonna be Ebb and Flow, NJ. Yeah, on Instagram or ebbandflownj.com for our website. So that's all we got today for y'all.
Well, you guys better be excited for this one because I already have my flights booked. I'm gonna be in there like swimwear for the grand opening. So we will definitely be keeping you guys updated on all of the deets if you guys want to come for the grand opening, if you want to come and check it out. This is going to be the best place to be in Asbury, and it's just gonna be a once in a lifetime experience. I already have Lotus babes who are making the drive to come. So this is a spot you're definitely going to want to be. So, until the future details, we're just continuing to manifest this freaking amazing opening.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm screaming internally.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you, Sammy. I love you, girl.
Oh, I love you. And we love you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Until the meantime, we love you.
Love you. Bye, everybody.